Welcome to the newest episode of the Right Quality podcast.
There we go.
Man, we are starting our top 5 series. No better way to start it than with our brother, another fellow point guard. It's fitting. We're starting with top 5 point guards all time. Gonna give you a little bit extra and do 5 current PGs in the league right now. But man, brother, go ahead and let the people know who you are before we get into all the sports talk. But let them know who you is, man.
Hey man, what's going on, man? My name is Aaron Akers from Milwaukee. I grew up with these guys, went to high school with these guys, coach basketball now out at Sussex Hamilton. I've been coaching since I graduated, so I'm going on year 8 with this. Come on out here to talk some good basketball with my guys, man. See what they got for me.
Hey man, it's about to get really dicey. We gonna jump right into this discussion, man. We are doing top 5 PGs of all times. I think I like top 5 lists better than top 10 lists because depending on like what position or what we talking about, it makes the conversation like you really got to argue points. You can't just throw people in the 10 and then conveniently move them around. Like you got to figure out who really there, like the upper echelon. So the only real question I have going into selecting this 5 is if we are setting some type of criteria, right? If you are a top 5 point guard of all time, do you have to be a champion?
That's tough.
You hate me, don't you?
I'm asking.
Is this how Rajon Rondo slips into someone's top 5? Is this how we discredit the point guard? This is how you got to mess up my list. You took my okay. All right.
I don't Honestly, I don't. For me, I feel like that only moves the needle because then for players from older generations that have that hardware, they'd have a little bit more, I think, feet like in the argument compared to somebody who don't got that hardware, depending on how hard we looking at it for criteria.
I think what make me want to say yes is exactly what you just said, but the no side of things is at the end of the day, the NBA is still a business. So as much as, you know what I'm saying, a point guard has to be great and do their job, you know, that we've all been there. That's our role. It's got a lot of things got to be great, you know, for you to win that season. You know, you got to be healthy all year. You got to have the right pieces around you. So, and especially as you get more, you know, into back in the day basketball, then point guards wasn't the main guy. So they definitely had to have somebody around them. So it's hard to say yes because we're talking about an individual thing. You do got to have some of them, some type of hardware, some type of accolades. I don't know if a championship should just be the definitive factor though.
I'm gonna piggyback off we need to have you on the podcast more. I could say less. You said the majority of it, and then just thinking of players. If we're looking outside of the point guard top 5 list, you miss a lot of great players in, you know, your AIs, your Charles Barkleys, your Melos. I mean, the list goes on. I
would argue though.
Puerto Rican. Give me that. I saw your face.
AI arguably still makes, depending on who you are and who you like, AI probably still makes your top 5 shooting guard list. Melo's a little bit harder of an argument at the 3, but he's gonna be in the conversation though.
But Charles Barkley's in that 4 combo.
Barkley's in that 4 conversation. The ring for him doesn't. Honestly though, that's gonna be tough too. He could be there, but he could easily be 6, depending on what you're looking at.
Yeah,
that power forward conversation is tough.
It's getting narrower by the day.
Yeah, that power forward conversation is actually crazy. Top 5. Yeah. But
there's a lot of players that could have been too. You know, Dirk doesn't get his one. Jokic doesn't get his one this year. You know, like Embiid will never. But you know, like there's different ones there.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be our criteria. Rings always come up when you talk about any top list, any greatest list. So it's like how much do we want to say? How much value are we putting on rings?
I think especially. I think for top 5, top 10, rings may not weigh as much. I think rings definitely come in factor where you start going like top three,
Fair.
top dog. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
absolutely.
five, as the numbers grow, the margin gotta open a little bit. You know, so we accepting three more. Maybe we accepting some guys that don't got rings, but them
yeah.
top dogs, that's where you gotta for sure have the whole package. But the top five, I don't know. We'll see too when we see what our lists
Yeah,
are.
because PGs, there's like two of them. Like you said, 4 or 5, you might lose two
Yeah,
with the
Yeah,
top right there.
for
yeah.
sure. Absolutely. Do y'all want to go 1 to 5 or 5 to 1?
Bro, I'm a guest.
Gail,
I'm
what you want to do?
as somebody that's creating theirs as they go. Let's go 1 to 5. I'm gonna
Okay.
be an honest man.
Who won for y'all? I wonder. I think we all on the same page, but who's won?
I still gotta go Magic, man. I got to. I have to go
Listen,
Magic still. Mister, you see him, Mister.
look,
Have
Oh
to.
man,
And
I,
it's
I will- let's
'Cause-
let's just run this. Let's run this. He's a 5-time NBA champion, a 3-time Finals MVP, a 3-time League MVP, 12-time All Star, 9-time First Team consecutive All NBA,
consecutive.
consecutive, 4-time assist leader, 7th all time on the assist list, 2-time steals leader, career averages of 19 and a half, 7 rebounds, and 11 and a half assists per game.
with a break.
With a career that was cut short.
Yeah. And then don't forget what he did in college. And
Didn't even talk about that.
Don't forget he got a gold medal too.
Our best Olympic team.
It's I love who I got at too, but
Right.
when you take, and I get it, as we evolve, the position is changed, and then you got these hybrids now and stuff. But when I do my score sheet, if I was a professional, it's still only 5 positions, and they're gonna say PG small forward, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, center. And when you look at everything that he brought, when it talked about being a point guard, it's really hard to not say Magic. You know, when you step on a team, and granted he was a little bit older, I get that, but when you step on a team with Kareem and you command the room the way you do, that's special. That's different. What he did his rookie year, that game, like that, I went and watched that because of course I wasn't alive for it. Side note, that's the only point guard that's on my list that I did not see with my own eyes. Um, but I went and watched the game, bro. Like Magic was ridiculous. To do that to another great and Julius Erving, Magic was phenomenal. So I got to keep him at 1.
Let's also keep in mind, if not for one of the greatest players to ever play, also being in a different conference and getting 3 championships himself, Magic would arguably have 7. But whatever Magic didn't get in the 80s, Bird damn near got. And Magic almost snuck away with one in the 90s, but then Jordan said, I'm here. So we talk about somebody who legit dominated
and revitalized the league. Like again, we wasn't alive for it, but we all seen them documentaries, bro. The league was going down. Him and that man from Boston, they literally single-handedly kind of made what this modern NBA is.
Absolutely.
They wasn't even playing games live before Bird and Magic came. Like that's crazy to me. Like they said they could watch they could play a game, go to the crib and watch they self play. You know, that's like wild. That before Magic and Bird, it wasn't what it is now. So when you put that impact in it, like a lot of people, young and old, got Magic on that Mount Rushmore. So it's hard to deny that man that top spot.
Yeah. I don't think it's nothing more that needs to be said there. We all got the light skinned man there too.
I definitely got that boy. He's different. He's different. I will say that it was this year or that ring that they won really solidified that two spot.
Absolutely.
You know, until then it was kind of teeter to me. But when he got that one, it really he's different. Like I said, man, that's Steph.
Wait, I thought we. Oh, okay. Never
Who
mind.
was you talking about?
No, don't worry about that one. I thought Walt Frazier was light skinned. I thought. Never mind.
What is this
Never mind.
fascination with Walt, bro? I don't know.
Rewind.
Whatever it is, this
Rewind.
thing you got with him,
No.
you need to cut it out.
His suit collection is crazy. That's about it. He's a great commentator. I'm going holistic. No, yeah, Stephen Curry. He's very good. I mean, as someone that completely changed how they play basketball when he touched the league and saw the game in a different way. He completely changed the game. And if you talk about like revitalizing the game like Magic did, Steph definitely had his part in that too. Because like now I can't coach basketball without telling kids stop shooting that. Don't like. There's a layup there. Like there is no one there. Actually, there's not a defender in sight. You have a fast break, and you're stopping to take a jumper. It's for better or for worse, Stephen Curry has changed our game.
First off, Miguel, I want to say that I feel like when you started explaining that, I don't think even you believed what you said or that you wanted to say it. I feel like you got some hate for the light skinned man. I don't know why.
Which person? Oh, I think it's Walt Frazier. I have no hate for that man. Steph, no. I have absolute love for that man. It's just that we had our that discussion we had previously. There's a player that I could see sliding in this, or not in this spot specifically, but players that are similar to him that could be in this position. So that's the only
even if that he wouldn't be better, he's not a better player.
No, I have a certain player in mind personally that I would.
You can say him. Go ahead.
That would be top 5.
He's ringless. No, not number 2. I mean, not. Well, he's top 5, but I mean, not number 2 because this man has the accolades. And at this point, when you're talking,
you got an argument for somebody else. That's cool, but I think those top 2 spots are locked down.
They are. No, I'm not fighting an unclimbable hill that I know is not climbable. This man had, like you said, after this latest ring that he got, that solidified it. I could maybe squeak out an argument a couple years before that for my guy, but
no.
Oh yes,
not for your guy.
I don't. That's my favorite player ever, and he lapped him a little while ago.
Wait, really?
He lapped him when he dropped him. I'm not gonna lie to you.
He stepped on his foot. And he doubled when he did it to LeBron. That's the only hate. That's the only hate I'm gonna bring. He doubled when he did that move on Bron, and then he stepped on Chris Paul's foot. If we're gonna put names out there,
I'm not. No, Chris. We'll talk about him later.
Well, we will. But we will. But no, Steph is undoubtedly number 2. I mean, he can shoot the ball better than anyone has ever played the game, and playmaking wise, like he is a wizard with it. Not we all, but like
honestly, and
look at plays.
Like they see the highlights, but I still think that's a really underrated part of his game. Like people don't really acknowledge how well Steph can pass the ball,
and his finishing,
pass it with both hands,
and his finishing.
His finishing is up there. Like we talk about Kyrie's, like it's the aesthetics of it is nice, but Steph finishes with the best of them at the rim percentage wise. Like, and that's what makes him so great because he's like either way, it's poison. If you let him go to the rim, he's having that high little scoop that's gonna kiss off the glass so soft, and then if you don't breathe on him from 50, he's pulling that too.
Yeah.
And Steph probably has the second best resume to Magic. And if not for being hold in the first finals that he won, his resume probably would look a little bit better.
I know it's cool.
He would have 2 finals MVPs.
Yeah,
it would be horrible in that final. So though
he did. He did. What's crazy that I just saw a tweet that compared Magic's accolades to Steph's, and they didn't compare at all. Like
not close.
They were like, "Why is this a comparison?" I'm like, I in this discussion in terms of top PGs, that's the discussion we have to have. But whoa.
Last thing I'll say. Go ahead.
If Steph was to get him another 1 or 2, and especially, if he grabbed another Finals MVP along the way, things might be able to change. You might really have to make some type of argument. But until then, no, that man had to. And I know a lot of people kind of, especially our age, the old folks not budging on none of their lists. But I be seeing some people our age talk about Steph jump magic, and I'm like, I can feel where you're coming from, but I just don't see it.
I still got Bob Cousy on my two.
That's crazy.
The logo.
I will say the last thing I'll say about these two is I think that they both reinvented the position, which is why I think easily, like by a large margin, they are 1 and 2. Magic in his time, nobody had. I mean, the closest thing to Magic before we got Magic was Oscar Robertson, but even then, what Magic did and how he did it just changed what a point guard could look like. And Steph did the same thing. It just Steph's was shooting. Magic's was more so his playmaking ability. So, but I think that's also why they both can't be touched in regards to being 1 and 2, because nobody else has, well, you could argue CP, but nobody else has really changed the position the way that both of them did. So yeah. So now I think this is where things get a little. Say,
this is actually where the list starts.
Yeah,
like, the list didn't start at 1 and 2. The list started at 3.
Right.
What you got? Who you got at 3?
For his nickname alone, I gotta go with my man. If I'm vetting for him at 1 and 2, I'm not gonna fold at CP3. He sits there, and that discussion can be had after you name your names. Because I have a couple players that are, definitely there that have rings that maybe have 2 syllables that you might name here. But I have CP3 there. And we can discuss.
I don't know if I can put CP over Zeke yet.
Zeke, I know. Yeah, I knew it was gonna be. I
cannot do that.
I don't know.
I can't do that. I'm sorry.
I know. And IT, I got posters of IT. This is like I said, the pity pat king.
Because again, when you talk about another one that just he won't get the credit for it, but when you talk about revitalizing what the position is before Zeke, how many point guards, small point guards specifically, were the best player on their team and the leader of their team, like on all aspects of the game, like the captain, the we need a bucket, we putting it in Zeke hands, we need a play, we're putting it in Zeke hands, can go get you a stop, feisty, the heart of a giant.
Yep.
And again, like I said, when you can get a chip
when Jordan's there
in between 3 of the greatest players to ever pick up a basketball, when you can get 2 of them, that's tough. And when you can say you beat them all doing it, like I'm not saying it was all in the same run, but like, yeah, I beat Mike in the series. I beat Larry in the series. I beat Magic to get my chip. Won me a Finals MVP while doing it. Another one whose career was cut a little bit short due to injury, but Zeke was a bad MF, man.
You're not lying. You've not told one lie. Hold on.
Wait. What argument are you making for CP?
If you hold on, I need my hug. Sorry, lady just came in.
Oh yeah, give Boo Boo.
Yeah, of course, absolutely.
Hey Boo Boo, give Boo Boo some love.
You show your face to the podcast. Let them know I got one. Hey,
yeah, do your thing.
Why you got my sandals on?
Take that out the pod. Take that out the pod right now. Right, I can't find my sandals.
That's absolutely staying in the pod, bro.
They need to know who the real Miguel is.
Yo, that's crazy. They
need to know. The stuff that y'all see is not scripted. Like when y'all watching Miguel, y'all be like, dog, this guy has to be like, this has got to be something he's playing. This is him authentic and unreal and uncut.
Wait, hey, the promo for the pod's got to be that picture you took me at the hotel. No bull. That was terrible. That was the worst. Okay.
Yeah, let me lock that. Hold on.
Sorry. All right.
If you let DeAndre Jordan clock anybody in a series, if you let him clock Bron, if you let him clock Kawhi square in the face 1 or 2 times to win a series, CP's got at least a ring and a half at this point. I promise you, if he's got a Bill Laimbeer like this, if they let a white boy run through and just run amok in there, he's got one. If someone else gets hurt other than him,
he has some decent opportunities with the Clippers.
He had a decent opportunity with the Rockets. If James Harden doesn't,
Wait.
Phoenix, he had a chance. Phoenix was the one chance that CP folded himself. The Scott Foster effect was there. I'm not gonna lie, but as a player, you got to beat a ref no matter what. So I mean,
So hear me.
Go ahead.
Hear me. So
I know. It's an uphill battle. This is the uphill battle I'll fight. So I love Zeke.
So with CP, like Ake said, because there have been times, there have been opportunities where you can't give him a better roster. You can't give him a better team. Like if he's there, if he's 3 with some of the rosters he's had, he has to make it happen. Or they have to at least have gotten further. Like, it will be different if those Clippers teams like got to the finals and lost to who would they been playing in that time? Bron in Miami or whatever the case may be. Like, that would be one thing. But they weren't getting out. They were barely getting to the Western Conference Finals. Like, he was underperforming. In Houston, I think he had a bit of a better shot in Houston than the Clippers, but that's also injury. That's not his fault, but it sucks that when y'all are up, by the time y'all go up 3-2, your hamstring is out. Like,
and a lot of those series with the Clippers, like whether it was Blake, whether it was CP, there were a couple years where it's just like, the injury bug got him, and then that was that.
Nobody talks about the other injury bugs though. But I'm saying because they weren't the story. Because the story was they were getting outplayed. That's just what it was. And so even in Houston, like, their best shot was that year. Was it
when they tricked 27 threes without CP3 game 7?
Was that KD first year, or was that the year before KD got to Golden State? We're not going to talk about that game though. Good, but because Chris Paul is out, so that's all that matters. We're not going.
But if he's there, if he's there for games, because he missed game 6.
Yeah, if he's there for game 6, I think they win the series.
He put the team on his back. He did the thing to Steph. He was on his shit. This is the only time I'm cussing on this pod. He was. I remember it like it was yesterday. I remember he had like 7 threes, and this man was going crazy because it was the first time he had to troll Steph back because he was like, "I got him. This is the one. This is it." And then Hammy failed him.
So then here's where CP drops for me, right? Even if we forgive Houston, right?
Yes.
He gets traded to OKC. Balls the hell out in OKC. Took OKC way further than they should have even went that year, right?
Absolutely.
He finally gets moved to the best position he's probably been in his career when he first got to Phoenix. Probably the best opportunity he truly had at a ring.
Yes.
That performance, that finals performance, that kind of does it for me, because that was his moment. That was his moment. All he needs is one. All he needs is one ring.
If he get one, it might be a different story. But he got there with a great cast,
and he had a decent series. Steph has had decent series and came out with the championship because he had a better roster. Because Steph is afforded to have a bad series because he has a better cast. And when that happens, this is what separates that conversation. This is why I'm going to put CP there, because at that point it's roster construction. Because Detroit,
what was wrong with that Phoenix team? What was wrong with the team?
What was wrong with the team?
What didn't he have?
So if we're saying that this is CP's moment, he was 35 when he had this moment. He's not in his prime like Zeke was. Like there's variables into this where I'm like,
I've
this is
seen guys win rings at 35.
yes, but they're not a part of a big three. They're not at 35 and like they're the core crux of what's supposed to win them a chip.
I know he's the greatest of all time, but how
LeBron.
No, we'll talk about that too. I do like that argument, but I was talking about Mike. Mike won. What was it? One at 35? Wasn't he 35 in what? 98, 97? One of them.
Yes.
So guys have done it. I'm not saying you have to be the best player. He didn't have to be the best player on that team.
Hell, he wasn't
maybe
the best
one or
player
two
on that
nights
team.
he would have had to be the best player on that team. Maybe for stretches he would have had to be the best player on that team. But that pressure wasn't on CP to be the guy, and he never took over and made himself the guy. So he had his moment, and it just blew.
Absolutely. I'm not arguing that the moment was there and that he missed it.
And
I'm just saying that at some point for greatest PG, because then you know what, Tony Parker's on my top 5 because that man has a couple rings and you know he had the team around him that did, and he does the same stuff that all them do. But you know he's got what 3 rings?
One, but you're clearly see that one is a better player. So leave Tony out of it, and I like Tony.
Respect to Tony, but yeah, don't use Tony as an example.
That's a
bad. Hey man,
bad.
Man's got rings though. That's what we're talking. If rings put him in the conversation.
So what I'm saying is,
Robert Ory's top 5 there.
Exactly.
I'm saying okay.
That's what separates IT and CP3. Even though IT is still, you know, I'm not saying it's a bad argument because he definitely fits top 3 because he could have been on that Olympic team and got gold if Mike doesn't blackball him.
So your argument for CP is that it's not his fault that he hasn't gotten his ring, and all the other accolades should push him to 3. That's the argument that you're making.
And also, like for what you said, I didn't get to argue because you had said it. Whatever team he has gone to has became a top team wherever he's gone. Although they might not have had, you know, the championship success. If where he went to OKC where they're supposed to tank, like, and willed them. Like if we're talking heart of a lion, he made OKC contenders in a year where they should have been ass. Like, and not saying that IT wouldn't have done that if he went somewhere else. He had the, you know, luxury of staying at a place where they could have him his whole career. But it's just hard because, I mean, you're talking a league that has more parity than ever that Chris Paul's lived in. And the era that IT lived in, there's maybe 4 or 5 teams that are really competing for chips every year. And yes, he is going to beat out the Birds and, you know, the Magics when he gets there. But I mean, like, the path to a chip wasn't as strenuous, I would say.
Whoa.
There were good teams.
That's cap.
the number of good teams wasn't at its at currently in the NBA.
But the route to the chip, though, like, okay, the parity
it's still tough.
Yeah. So like once you got to playoffs, like if you gotta go through Bird, then after you get through Bird, you gotta see Magic. Or you gotta go through Bird and Mike and then see Magic on the other side. That's insane.
Yes.
So I hear everything you're saying about CP. I just feel like nothing you're saying is topping what Zeke brought to his team, what Zeke ultimately accomplished, and Zeke just proved to be more of a winner. Because Zeke didn't win every season. He had his seasons where he lost too. This man rolled his ankle and played. He played on one foot.
It went crazy.
Dog,
it went crazy.
I'm just saying, and I'm not trying to make it seem like, oh, CP should have tried to play through a hamstring. I'm just saying, I gotta look at what happened. This is what happened.
And I think that goes in the conversation of also when we're doing top 5 top moments that has ever happened. I think that's a great point. Ooh. And I think, you know, you're right. CP hasn't had a moment, a historic moment like IT has ever had. And with I think, you know,
I think I ain't gonna lie. Like I said at the beginning, when it come to top 3, I don't think any position I'm gonna name a top three. Like we could go point guards, shooting guards. We could go the whole line. I don't think in that top three, I'm naming guys that don't got at least one chip.
Yeah, and I think that's valid. I think, yeah, I think that's fair. I think it's just hard because for PGs they're supposed to get a ring, and that's that's expected because they're the quarterback of their team. If you're gonna quarterback your team somewhere, you got to get them to a chip. So that's
like fair. I said, like okay, and I mean, even if because I don't know the number off the top of my head, like how many PGs have even been Finals MVP? Like I bet you that list is
Magic.
Small. So you got Magic, Steph, Zeke.
After them three, I'm really trying to think
again,
back.
Like I know none have been happening in my modern era. Some of the old school guys will have to tell me theirs.
Big O, maybe.
Big O, I don't think he's Finals MVP though.
Kareem
got it.
Yeah. That's all I'm thinking because he got the ring, but Kareem's there.
So I think that's if you can say you're one of the only people to do something, and it just so happens that the only other two are the two people that you would say are better than you, I gotta be right behind them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I got to.
Yeah. And for that, Zeke is 3.
Okay. And I will give you, I did have CP3 4.
I know the number just sounded too nice. CP3 at 3.
I got CP3 at 4.
My OCD was bugging. Now that segment's over, we could just be like, CP3's 4.
Yeah. I think again, not to diminish them because the coach in me loves it. Like, bro, I'm looking at the numbers now. 9 total defensive teams. Like 7 of them are first team.
Yeah.
6 times steals. Champ, bro. That's a record. That's what he did on both ends. And then again, like the facilitating role. Like he's amazing. Like again, I'm not trying to diminish Chris Paul by not saying that he's not better than Isaiah Thomas. That's hard to be better than Isaiah Thomas, but I think what you want in a point guard, Chris Paul being that he knows when to get a bucket, he knows when to get the teammates going, he knows when to find the hot hand. Defensively, like I said, he's little, but you can still put him on. You know what I'm saying? That best, I wouldn't say maybe best wing guy if they a little bit over 6'4", 6'5", but that point guard, that smaller 2, he's there. And like I said, a menace in the passing lanes and on ball.
Literally.
So I don't want to move him because I feel like the only reason Chris Paul starts to slip in these conversations is the ring. So I don't want to keep pushing him solely for that because the rest of that resume is just insane. Like you add a ring to that, and we're talking about one of the.
He different.
Yeah, we're talking about one of the best basketball resumes. Period.
Yeah.
So we brought up somebody that I feel like is the only person that I would legitimately try to argue who I would put over CP. And if he doesn't go over, I feel like it's kind of hard not to put him at 5. I think we need to have a conversation about Oscar Robertson. I know. Back, it's playing way back when. I get it. First player ever to average a triple-double in the season. Let's go through some more of it. He's an NBA champion. He also is an NBA MVP. He's a 12-time All-Star. He's a 11-time All-NBA selection, 9 first teams. 6-time NBA assist leader. Career averages of 25, 7, 7.5, 9.5. I don't know, man. I feel like you kind of picking apples and oranges with it. Like you can't really go wrong. I guess it depends on how strict, how particular you want to be. And I'm not saying the ring puts him over, but if he's also a 6-time assist leader, he has himself an MVP, which CP does not. And I would argue that there have been seasons where CP has played on an MVP level. I'm not saying it isn't more difficult for somebody in that position to get the award, especially in his era. But I don't know. Would y'all make that flip, or do y'all feel like CP's done enough to solidify himself at 4? And would Big O even be y'all 5th, or did y'all have somebody else in mind?
I personally, again, mad love to the Big O. Brought the first, or helped bring the first championship to my hometown. So big love to him. I was so far away from Big O. Like, I never saw, not even came close to seeing Big O. So it's just hard for me to like. I ain't gonna lie. Like if we get to centers, a lot of people be crazy how low I be having Bill, and I like Bill. The impact is amazing, but when we talk about just as a basketball player, like it's tough because I didn't see that. I think Oscar Robertson was fantastic. Even the small, highlights that you see of him, it's the way he moved was ahead of his time. The way he saw the game was ahead of his time. But and I'm not taking it away from him. You got that one chip with somebody that a lot of people argue, or like I said, the older people argue is, if not the greatest, the second greatest player of all time. Like they even jumped Kobe and Bron for Kareem. So to win one next to Kareem, again, like I'm not trying to knock it at all, but that was beneficial.
Absolutely.
And I think, again, like you said, I don't think I'll ever be able to like knock anybody that make that argument. Like if you was to be like, oh yeah, like you was just, I got O over him. I'm not mad at you for that. It's just I didn't see him. It's hard to judge something that I didn't see.
Yeah, that's real. I don't know. I don't officially have O over him. I just think that we got to talk about it, because I feel like also I don't think that we glamorize CP, right? But I think that sometimes we don't. As great as the resume is, we also have to look at how often CP has come up short. And so I feel like we gotta have an honest conversation about that. That don't put O over him because of talking about coming up short. Because I think Ake, you made a great point in regards to the championship that you do have is with the greatest center ever. You know what I'm saying? And one of a top 3 basketball player ever for most people. So it's just like, again, can't diminish it, but you probably don't see that ring, without like him being on your team, no matter how integral you were in that. So I just brought that more so up. I don't think somebody can really make a strong enough argument to move CP from 4 for me. Like I could hear it, like the same. We just had this conversation about, oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
I wouldn't push O into 4, but like you said, if somebody was like, no, I'm gonna die on that hill, I'm gonna put O at 4.
Yeah,
if that's your top 5 list, I respect it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, but we can solidify CP at 4. I'm not mad at that. Who rounds out the list?
who you got, Gail? Talk to me.
I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I like really hate it.
Say it. Like, you have to. You got to.
Because it's like, I would rather pick Steve Nash. I would rather pick Jason Kidd.
I see where you're going with this.
It's John Stockton. John Stockton's the 5th best point guard ever. I hate it. Like I said, I hate it. I hate it. But the resume is the resume, right? Right? If it's not Big O, is it John Stockton? I mean, I'll give my hate speech for him at top 5. It's not something I want to do, but I'll put it for John Stockton. Put him at 5. He's got the assist record to a Predator. He's got, hold on. I told you I'll give my hate speech for him. He's gonna make it, but do I want to give it to him for playing a boring system in Utah where the ball is always in his hands and is always doing a pick and roll to the same person, or is going to John Havlicek in the corner, or Jerry Sloan's old ass? Like, I guess please give me someone else that's not John Stockton. I'll take it. I'll yes, Big O. Like I said, Steve Nash has 2 MVPs. Jason Williams had a pass off his elbow. That was cool. I mean, Rajon Rondo has 2 rings, even though he's very mediocre. I mean, I'm just going off.
Mediocre.
He can't shoot at all. I mean,
okay, we'll talk about.
He almost won horse against KD. I'll give him that. He was hitting more threes in that horse game against KD than I've ever seen him hit in my life. That was when I was like, oh,
off camera. But
all right, sorry. No, Rajon Rondo is a great point guard as well. Like he tripped Kirk Heinrich, yeah, but we look past it.
This man.
I'm an NBA historian. It's locked in there somewhere. Who is the 5th best point guard? Who is y'all? Wait, Qualls. So Big O. Hey, who do you got? Steve Francis.
I love.
Did you say Steve Francis?
I love Stock. Stock got the accolade. He's crazy. You see, certain stuff you just got to let.
Stevie franchise? Come on, man.
I did take Mr. Kidd.
You took Jason Kidd.
I actually did take Mr. Kidd. Second all time in assists. Hold on, I have some of the other accolades. Give me 1 second. But when you talk about being a point guard,
he's a champion.
He is a champion. Got it later in his career. Did help lead that New Jersey team. They got kicked. They got their ass kicked, but they still did go to the finals. It was nice to see another person that you kind of, when you talk about the things CP3 did, you kind of say the same things about Jason Kidd. I would say that CP3 is better offensively, especially when you talk about shooting the basketball, especially from the 3-pointer and the mid-range. That mid-range is deadly. But Jason Kidd, tough to leave him off. Like I said, from guys that I've seen play, he's the IQ out of this world.
Help me.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Just knew where everybody was going to be 3 steps ahead. It's like he was out there playing chess while everybody was playing checkers, you know?
This is a 4-person race for 5th. Initially, starting out, it's a 4-person race, depending on what your criteria is or who you want to consider. And it's only 4 if you consider Big O. But if you a person like, I didn't see them, I'm not considering them, cool. And we already talked about also just leave him in the atmosphere. Stockton, Kidd, Nash. It's between them 3. And it really depends on what you think makes the resume better. So Stockton has the assist record, right? He's a 10-time NBA All-Star. He's an 11-time All-NBA selection, but it's 2 first teams, 6 second teams, and 3 third teams. I don't say that to diminish an All-NBA selection. I just say it to say that a lot of other people on this list either haven't had a third at all or they've only been first team almost.
Well, I was about to say something very disrespectful.
But Stockton is 5-time All-Defense. Second team, but I was surprised that he was 5-time All-Defense to begin with.
And again, like I didn't see the seasons, but how many of those, I would have to go look at them. How many of those years that he made an All-Defensive team did he lead the league in steals?
He's a 2-time steals leader. So there's a chance that at least one of those years.
At least one of those.
I mean, he's a 9-time assist leader. I mean, my God, like you just talk about it's, but then Nash is a 2-time MVP and one of the most efficient players 40-90 ever.
Career.
Yep.
Like in those Phoenix teams, they had some deep runs, but if you're running into the Spurs for the whole decade, I mean, God.
And Robert Horry's elbow. He represented for all unathletic point guards. I got a lot for my game out of him.
Shut up.
What?
But then the same thing for Kidd. And I think if I'm not mistaken, how many all defense selections does Kidd have?
I think I said 4 first team, 5 second team.
Good God. I mean, so you saying Kidd, you saying Stockton. I'm not solidifying O there. I want to give O his respect, but I'm not solidifying O at 5.
No, I'm gonna take Stockton off. I'll
I'll
take
put
Nash.
O over Stock, and
You,
like
you,
Stock is dope, but I'll put O over Stock.
and I'll put O over Nash too. I love him,
Both
but
of them, yeah. Like I think
So
if I was to go, like I said, like if a old school guy was, I got O in my top 5. I'm not gonna argue that. And like I said, if just how I wanted my criteria to be was Magic is just Magic, but the rest of my 4 have to be guys that I saw live. If that wasn't the criteria, I would, you know what I'm saying? Big O had to be that guy if you're not gonna say kid. For me personally, I that's a personal preference thing too. I like Big O more than I like Stop.
let's do y'all feel like we can agree on 5, or are we just going to agree to disagree on where we land at?
we could just personal. Let's let a personal vote rock. I don't think we even need to solidify. We could just spitball what our favorites.
I'm gonna honor. I ain't gonna lie, Steve. I'm gonna honor that Big O. I'll take Big because I think I'll take Big O over Kid if we plan. Like if the stuff that everything that they said about this man is what it actually is, and then it's the fact that he did get a chip, the first one too. You like you said, lead the league. I mean, average a triple double. It's hard to not take that man. Like I said, it's just I wanted to be that one to try to have 4 current players on there, or not current, but players that we
Modern day
players.
Yeah, there are lists. There's a list that has our Oscar Robertson at 2, and there's a list that has him at 3.
I can't see 2 or 3.
I personally can't. There's a list.
I will let you argue 4. Like I'll let you argue. Yeah, he better than.
Because I'm not putting him over Zeke.
Argue 4. I'm not. That top 3 is.
Yeah, that top 3 is set. That top 3 is pretty set. Yeah.
Like in my opinion, I think that top 3 is as set as the top 3 shooting guards. Like there's no argument about the top 3 shooting guards.
Agreed.
Dwayne Wade's on there, right?
Absolutely. He's the 3rd one.
Okay.
There's no argument about it.
Right? Yeah. No, that's not like that's not a conversation.
Tune in to the Shooting Guard podcast. Miguel claims that Dwayne Wade is the best, second best shooting guard of all time.
You trying to get dicey for real?
Man, I'm trying to get us doxxed or something. Someone's gonna say something about me.
We're gonna eventually have to go personal top 10s.
Oh man,
I ain't gonna lie, like completely unrelated, but I am super curious where y'all got Kareem.
In 10, in the 10
personal top 10s. Like we talking.
He's in 5. He's in the top 5.
In the 5.
He's in the 5. It's just, do you got him top 3?
Well, I mean, Karl Malone.
I will leave this video right now, dude. I ain't gonna lie. I don't care what nobody ever say to me. That man is never going to any spot like that. Well, you left Karl Malone. Like if you ever invite me to do a top 5 power forwards, guess who name I'm not saying.
Hey,
I'm gonna rock with you on that.
Hey, if he is in the 5, he just unnamed, like unnamed player,
jazz player,
bro.
Statistic, just bro with these numbers.
This guy,
John Stockton's passing teammate.
Crying. There you go.
So
let Miguel do the whole segment. Like,
sorry. Anti-vax man's passing teammate.
Hey man, hey dog. No, them niggas from Utah is a little bit weird, but nonetheless, top 5 all-time point guards. Our final list: Magic at 1, Steph at 2, Isaiah Thomas at 3, Chris Paul at 4, Oscar Robertson at 5. That's a very respectable list, if you ask me.
Let us know what you feel, though. Who you got? If we miss somebody, if we ain't showing nobody enough love, if we showing people too much love, man, come jap with us, man. I want to hear what y'all got to say, too. I can't wait to read the comments, see what everybody got. Like talking basketball.
I'm scared to read the comments. That's an episode, right?
That's
on some ludicrous that I say, no?
You say ludicrous
flip-flop line in there.
Oh no, that's a clip.
Ludacris is in my rap top 5, but I mean that's for another day.
Hey, look, before me and Akers get more annoyed with this man, because y'all don't understand. This ain't even the worst of how this gets.
Like this is being chill.
This is calm.
Like
Luda's not in your top 5?
All
Top
right.
5 what? From his state?
We in the red light district? No.
Top 5 from his state, maybe.
ATL
That's
is tough.
tough.
He might not even
That's
be top
tough.
5 from
Oh,
ATL.
yeah, I forgot he's from Atlanta. Yeah, get out of here.
Tough.
I forgot. I was about to say, bro. Wait, I have to really check myself. Like, wait, look
Hey,
from the
if
A.
he didn't
No.
act in 8 Fast and Furious movies, he would have been dropped 10 more classic albums. He dropped 7 and was like, you know, I'm gonna act.
You know what, Miguel? I'm gonna let
Tyrese was dropping bops too before he cooked his ass in his house.
Hey man, look.
It's like 100 degrees here.
Miguel, this is a basketball topic. You talk about Fast and Furious.
Rappers. Talk about rappers. Top 5.
You're ludicrous. That's what ludicrous. You ludicrous.
Man, honestly, we wasted y'all time at this point. Look, it's been a great episode. Gotta thank my brother for coming on and starting this off, man. We going through all the positions. We just did PG. We got shooting guard coming, small forward coming. We going through all the positions. We absolutely will be doing our top 10 all-time list. We're gonna have to bring Ake back for that for sure. And we're gonna do a top 10 of who is in the league currently, and that's gonna have to be in order. So y'all gonna be getting these lists. We gonna be having these type of debates for the next about month and a half, leading right up to the NBA season. So stay tuned, stay locked in, and shoot, we'll catch y'all next time. Peace.
Easy.